welcome to IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook. Today we're going to be making Easter eggs 3 ways. First type of egg we're going to make is a mermaid egg. For this project you will need decorating eggs, craft paint, fingernail polish, a foam brush and or a sponge, and netting or fish net stockings. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is paint our egg. And I just want a nice base coat for this egg. This is going to be what the scales are going to be made of. So you're just going to paint your whole egg and then let it dry. Next we're going to wrap the netting around the egg. I'm using a bag that I got sweet potatoes in, but you can use any type of netting or fishnet stockings. You want to make sure that it is snug against your egg, and you can secure it with a rubber band if you want, or just twist it and hold it. Now we're going to use our nail polish to make the scales. So we're just going to dump a little bit of this nail polish out into a little cup so that I can get to it a little bit easier. And then you're going to dip your sponge or your foam brush into your nail polish. And we're just going to dab that all over the egg. Now, if you wanted to make your egg look even more like a mermaid egg, you could use nail polish with sparkles or a metallic looking nail polish, whichever you have on dry, you can go ahead and remove the netting. You do want to make sure your nail polish is completely dry. Now, the smaller the netting you have, the smaller the lines between your scales are going to be. So mine are pretty thick, but if you're using a fish net, that will be smaller. And now you've got a great mermaid egg. Next, we're going to make doodle eggs. For this project, you will need decorating eggs, tissue paper, Mod Podge, a foam brush, and markers or gel pens. To get started, we're going to tear our tissue paper into small squares. I made my tissue paper maybe like 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, but it really just depended on how my tissue paper tore. And I'm just doing enough to cover one egg, but if you're doing multiple eggs, you can tear all of your tissue paper at this time. Now that I have my tissue paper torn into sections, I'm going to paint some of the Mod Podge onto the egg using the paintbrush. And I'm using a foam brush because I find that works best with Mod Podge. Then I'm going to cover that area with a piece of tissue paper and pat that tissue paper down with the paintbrush. You're going to continue adding Mod Podge and tissue paper, slowly covering the whole egg. You want to make sure that the surface of the covered egg has a thin covering of the Mod Podge, as this will seal the tissue paper when it dries. Once the egg is covered in tissue paper, you're going to set it aside and let the Mod Podge dry. check your egg. Sometimes a second coating of tissue paper is required for good coloring. Once your egg is completely dry, you're going to use your gel pens or markers to draw a pattern on the egg. I like a vine and flower pattern, but use your imagination and creativity to make your own design. Eggs are scrapbook paper eggs. For this project, you will need decorating eggs, scrapbook paper in 2 different designs, bright ribbon, craft glue, a glue gun, and the pattern attached to this video. Using the pattern, cut out 8 pieces of paper. I did 4 of each design. Take your craft glue and put a line of glue from the top of your egg to the bottom of your egg vertically. Now, you could use a brush, but I'm going to use my finger to just smear the glue so that it is about the width of one of the pieces of paper. You're going to position the piece of paper from the top center of the egg and carefully smooth the paper down the length of the egg, ending at the center bottom. You're going to repeat this with the remaining pieces of paper until the egg is covered. If you're using different papers, alternate the paper as you go. There will be a small space between each piece, and that's okay. We're going to cover that up with the ribbon later on. Pieces of paper glued into place, you're going to want to let that dry completely. Now we're going to use ribbon to cover our cracks. I'm going to use hot glue for this part because I think it holds a little bit better. As you can see, I just added a dab of glue at the bottom of the egg and placed the ribbon there. And now I'm just going up in between those 2 pieces of paper and then another dab of glue at the top of the egg. You can add a little bit of glue in the center of the egg as well to hold the ribbon in place. And then once I get to the bottom, I'm going to cut my ribbon so that it's the correct length and just another little dab of hot glue there. I'm going to repeat this process to cover all of the cracks, and as you can see, I am going to be using 2 different colors of ribbon just to give my egg a little bit something special. fun, decorative Easter eggs. Stay safe and see you next week on IFL's Crafternoon on Facebook.